The PPSh-41 saw more frontline combat than any submachine gun in history. It was also the most produced submachine gun of World War II, with 6 million manufactured, making it the second most produced submachine gun in history, right behind the Uzi.
The Uzi 9mm?
You know your weapons, buddy.
In the movies, the PPSh-41 is in virtually every Russian film. So let's take a closer look at one of the most prolific firearms in history.
No, it isn't ready. It hasn't been tested. We don't even know if it works.
If what works?
Okay, before we get into the PPSh-41, we need to highlight the Finnish KP-26 and Russian PPD-40. Like virtually every nation fighting in World War II, the Russians started with an expensive, higher quality submachine gun. Of course, being the largest war in human history, precision-built firearms needed to be modified into what could be built cheaply, and most importantly for Russia, quickly. The PPSh would be the start of Soviet mastery of simple, effective, and inexpensive weapon design.
Right, boys. Meet your dates for tonight. I'll take the tall blonde.
Comrades, time.
Just as the British turned the Lanchester into the simple Sten, and the Germans the MP-38 into the stamped metal MP-40, design characteristics of the PPD-40 would be simplified for the PPSh-41, though some improvements were also made, including a simple gas compensator that reduced muzzle climb.
Yes, my friend, you have been promoted.
Many war movies actually feature the PPD-40, and it's often mistaken for the PPSh-41. Big credit to movies such as Tali-Ihantala, The Unknown Soldier, and Panfilov's 28 Men, just to name a few that feature engagements, including PPD-40s and PPSh-41s, reflecting its early and mixed use. The PPSh-41 entered service in 1941, but wouldn't be manufactured in large numbers until later in the same year. To go back a little further in time, it was actually the Finnish KP-31 that inspired the Russians to really go big with submachine guns. When the Soviet Union invaded Finland in November of 1939, they met with extremely fierce resistance, and the Finnish KP-31 contributed to Finnish success in close-quarter fighting. Though the weapon may have a similar look to the PPD-40 and PPSh-41, it had little in common, besides the drum magazine, which was copied and adopted by the Soviets. By early 1942, PPSh factories were producing over 3,000 units a day. It was both a production and frontline success. A PPSh could be manufactured in 5.5 to 7.5 hours. Production time and quality did vary. One interesting manufacturing shortcut involved machining, then cutting the standard Mosin rifle barrel in half to create 2 PPSh barrels. Production goals would be monitored from the highest levels in the Soviet government.
Don't bring our glorious leader into your treachery. Confess, spy bastard, confess!
The PPSh-41 fired a large Tokarev round, which gave it good stopping power, but made the weapon heavy, particularly with a loaded drum magazine, which when equipped, the weapon weighed 12 pounds. The rate of fire was very impressive, at up to 900 rounds a minute. Maximum range was about 200 meters. The PPSh was considered a durable and low-maintenance weapon. It was also incredibly simple to field strip and service, a huge plus in frigid temperatures. The drums of the PPSh were considered one weakness, which was the same experience the Americans had using drums on the Thompson submachine gun.
A Tommy gun!
Drums in general are cumbersome and hard to load. Production at time for the Soviets got bottlenecked by drum magazines, and this led to mixed quality. A scene from the movie Kalashnikov even shows the famous Mikhail Kalashnikov examining one and speaking to its poor construction. The Soviets would introduce box magazines for the PPSh To help relieve some production and quality issues, both drums and box magazines would be manufactured at the same time. In Hollywood, almost all World War II submachine guns have a spray and pray reputation, often being fired from the hip. The PPSh is one such weapon where suppressing fire and hip fire might have been more common than with other submachine guns. The PPSh had a great rate of fire, combined with good controllability. This weapon was accurate on or off the sights. Some of the house clearing scenes from Stalingrad highlight good use of the weapon. By the Battle of Stalingrad, the weapon was really proving its usefulness. At Stalingrad, the Red Army started using squads of submachine gunners, which would become more commonplace by 1944. In urban settings, these squads proved highly effective against German squads, with only limited MP-40 submachine guns. The German army, though valued the submachine gun, was still only slowly upping production, while beginning to shift their focus on their newly developed assault rifles. The need for submachine guns during the trench and city fighting on the Eastern Front would be highlighted by the pervasive use of captured submachine guns by both sides. The German army often praised the PPSh-41. In city fighting, it was highly common for a Kar 98K German rifle to be discarded for a Soviet PPSh.
This is a problem. This is a war.
PPSh capture and use for Germany would become a common and officially adopted practice. A program was developed to convert PPShs to standard German 9mm cartridges. Even German manuals were printed on use and service of the PPSh. After World War II, the PPSh was supplied to numerous Soviet-aligned states and was used heavily during the Korean War, both as the PPSh-41 and Type 49 North Korean or Type 50 Chinese licensed copy. One of the most famous visual uses of the weapon was during the construction of the Berlin Wall, with the weapon gaining notoriety and association with the East German police, something not lost on the production team in Bridge of Spies.
Yes, student. And that's here?
So was the PPSh a good weapon? It was an excellent weapon, and the Soviets used it well. It had some flaws, the drum, the weight. It was also easy to spot at night, and had a distinct muzzle flash. But when you consider this was one of the most used weapons in history, it did very well, even getting the better of Thomas Kretschmann on multiple occasions. Alright, I'm Johnny. Thanks for watching this brief amateur review on the PPSh-41. Feel free to expand on any information in the comment section below, and we'll see you next time.